Welcome to the Glass Segment Strategic Assessment for Harbison Walker International. The glass segment focuses on the glass industry. The glass industry is made of float glass, container glass, fiberglass, silicates, technical glass, and art glass. Refractories are ceramic materials designed to withstand the very high temperatures in excess of 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit, which makes it very critical for the glass-making operations because glass is formed using minerals that are melted at temperatures between 2,200 Fahrenheit and 3,100 Fahrenheit. Harbison Walker International manufactures these refractories that are used for the glass industry. Harbison Walker International started essentially in 1865 under a different name. Through years of mergers and acquisitions and a short stint in Chapter 11 due to asbestos claims for mesothelioma, the company reemerged from bankruptcy in 2013 and then rebranded itself as Harbison Walker International. This company is made up of several companies and several technologies that service the industries. The refractory market size for the glass industry by region in million metric tons is shown here. You can see that there is a very large section of the total tonnage in Asia Pacific. This is mainly driven by China. The CAGR number is also very high for the China and Asia Pacific region, but the rest of the world also has a very high growth. When looking at the market, there are plenty of opportunities and threats to consider. So using the pestle analysis enables us to look at all of these in a cross-functional way and to see how it affects different factors or how different factors affect the market. So one thing that's noted here is that the country of origin for the products is very important. And it actually hits in three factors: the political, economic, and socio-cultural. Looking at the competitive landscape through the Porter's Five Forces enables the glass segment team to kind of provide a roadmap of where they need to have some initiatives to deal with the threats that are in the marketplace. Also have an understanding of the bargaining power of suppliers and the bargaining power of buyers. The rivalry that exists in this market is quite interesting because of all the mergers and acquisitions that have happened. One of our biggest competitors actually used to own us, and so since then, which was a couple decades ago, they have also bought other companies, and now there are three main competitors in the marketplace with many, many smaller niche players out there. You can see that here. So in the glass market, RHI Magnesita and CEFPRO are the two largest manufacturing companies, and HWI is probably the third largest. And then all of the rest of them here are actually smaller, more niche players in the market, but they have very specialized products that are worthy competitors in the marketplace. Looking at current trends in the market, the top thing here is the evolution of purchasing decision drivers. So this evolution really started in the 1980s. In the 1980s, the world economy was very strong, and all anybody really cared about in the market was how long can they make the furnaces go. And by doing that, that strategy, you buy differently. So you really want the best performing products that are on the market. And then as the market contracted, like in 2009, 2010 time period, costs really became more important. Now, when you look at today, the world economy is really in almost a trade war scenario, and raw material supply is very tight due to different environmental rules in China and some trade policies that have been put into place. So now the purchasing decision is really driven by the reliability of supply. That's not to say that performance and cost aren't important. They're still part of the equation, but really the reliability of supply is sometimes outweighing all the other decisions. Some other trends that are really worth noting here is capital expenditures. Because the market is in such a high level right now, they are being delayed, and so the hot repair spending is on the rise. Reducing chromic oxide containing products from operations. This is seen really across the board for the entire glass industry. There are some areas where it's just really not possible without a huge sacrifice to the productivity of the operation. But in others, finding alternatives is really an initiative for glass manufacturers, because it removes some hazardous waste potential in their operation. Rock wool is an alternative to the wool glass. So this is really a new technology besides the sea glass technology that is used for insulation. This is really big in Europe and in Asia, but we're starting to see it in the United States. So this is a trend as well. Outsourcing refractory expertise is interesting, because as the baby boomers are leaving the industry, glass manufacturers are also trying to become lean, and they may not fulfill the number of positions that were allocated to refractory experience or expertise. And so what they're really doing is they're relying on outside firms such as Harbison Walker to essentially be their outsourcing of refractory expertise. On a global scale, the customer consolidation is also a trend. We're getting many customers consolidating, buying each other out. The most well-known one in this area is PPG. So PPG had a huge float glass operation across the world, and it sold its float glass operation to a Mexican company named Vitro. And so Vitro is now the decision maker for several glass furnaces in the United States that we supply to. Environmental factors to consider: EPA regulations, furnace life cycle, reuse program. All of these have to do with efficiency and not putting the bad actors into the environment. And so because of these regulations and focus on furnace life cycle, it really changes the way that refractories are looked at by the customer, and the decision making that they go through when selecting refractories. HWI's mission, vision, and values. So the mission is: our solutions drive industry performance. The vision is that we will be the first and only call. If you compare this against the two main competitors, RHI and Magnesita, you can see a little bit different, but kind of along the same lines. So RHI says that they take innovation to 1200 degrees C and beyond. If you remember the refractory definition at the beginning, you can see where this has evolved from. But innovation is a key word, similar to coming up with solutions. We just, in HWI, didn't use the word innovation, but coming up with solutions, new ideas to drive industry performance. CEFPRO mission is: make the difference through reinforced product and service offering in order to always meet our core commitments. That's a little bit vague, so I included their vision as well, which is more clear, I believe. So the vision is to be the refractory supplier you can trust for meeting every evolving need. So what's interesting about CEFPRO is they've actually incorporated their vision into their corporate tagline. In their logo, it says CEFPRO, it's a matter of trust. Some core competencies. I'm not going to be able to go through all of these for the sake of time, but I just wanted to highlight some of the strengths. Is for HWI and for the glass segment is the world-class distributor network called the GSCs, the Global Sourcing Centers. So HWI has 30 of these in North America, Canada, and Mexico. And the footprint of these across the country, or the countries, is right in line with the locations of our glass manufacturing operations. So we're able to supply product much faster than the competitors. We're able to offer them a service of bringing in material for many locations and getting it ready for a project. One of the things that's a weakness for HWI is that traditionally viewed as a high-cost supplier. As a result, the customer base believes that we have a complex pricing structure. In response to this, an opportunity that HWI and the glass segment team has is the new ERP system implementation that is actually happening now. This will help us have a much broad understanding of our pricing structure and be able to really be more strategic about our pricing in the market. Another very important opportunity is to obtain new contracts with global customers to expand HWI's global reach. The biggest threat that we have is actually from CEFPRO. They have launched a new product called Wool, which is a direct compete with our Reserve program, which is a product that uses reclaimed chromic oxide alumina material. And what that does is that relieves the customer of dealing with the hazardous waste, and we're able to reuse it into our process as a safe material. Here's the HWI executive team. So this team oversees all of the operations, including the glass segment team, and they really set the foundation and the strategy for the company. I am the glass segment team leader, and so I am responsible specifically for the global glass business across the entire organization. Here's how the organization is structured. So before we reorganized, we had a business unit structure. So everything flowed up to the head of the glass business unit. Now we have a functional group structure, which has all of the markets into one group. So the customer service group is one, marketing group is all one, no matter what market it is, we're all in one. If you actually drew a line across those bubbles there, you would be drawing the line of the glass segment team, because the glass segment team is comprised of every functional group that's in the company. The financial performance of the glass segment is roughly about $70 million a year, and it's been fairly stable. You do see an uptick in 2015, which had not a normal event. There was actually 2 float furnaces built in that year. One thing that's interesting is that in 2009, when the whole world was actually going through the financial crisis, that actually did not hit the glass industry until 2010 because of the nature of capital expenditures. So in 2010, when everything really restricted in the glass market, then the market got very competitive, and you can see that through the drop in the gross margin, and it has stabilized since then. The glass business is very seasonal, and so in the summertime, especially due to construction and the container industry with beer, wine, and spirits, they need to be in full swing during the summer months. And so as a result, the first and the fourth quarters are very busy for shipping refractories. There is a tendency for more in the fourth quarter just because of the nature of capital expenditures and people wanting to spend money because they put it in their budget and it hadn't been spent yet. Here's the value chain. So HWI always sells through either an OEM, which is an outside engineering firm, or an internal glass company engineering group. Either way, we always deal with the engineers and also the glass maker and the purchasing groups there. There are 3 growth initiatives that are currently being executed by the glass segment team: Glass on the Offense, Globetrotters, and the Hot Repair Stocking Program. All of these are in response to the threats and the opportunities that were defined during the strategic analysis. And here's the outlook. So we are poised to essentially double the market for us, double the revenue for the glass segment team, and also regain some of the margin, gross margin that we lost. We don't believe it'll be a continuous upward slope. We do think it'll stabilize. But with that increased revenue and the growth in margin, that will definitely increase profitability for the entire segment. Thank you, and let me know if you have any questions.